Aha! It's night. Let's go.
Alright, so while my Seestar is trying to capture this NGC 5907, whatever that is, let's go and search what we can do there. NGC 5907. Bam. Splinter Galaxy. Ooh, these look super cool. And my one looks like, I suppose there's a little bit something there, I guess. ESA. NGC 5907, also known as a knife-edge galaxy or splinter galaxy, is an edge-on spiral galaxy located 50 million light-years away in the constellation of Draco. Really? Oh, look at that, look at that, look at that, look at that. This is like so cool. Yeah. What does mine look like? My one looks like I'm capturing a tree. Found by William Herschel on May 5th at 1788. This William Herschel has found a lot of things. A spiral galaxy spanning roughly 150,000 light years across. Wow, that's the biggest thing I've looked at. Like, literally. In 2017, data from the ESA observatory identified an ultraluminous X-ray source within NGC 5907 as an extraordinarily bright and distant spinning neutron star, Pulsar. Oh, Forbes, tell me, what the hell? Yes, the European Space Agency Newton satellite has detected the brightest and farthest known pulsar, some 40 million light years away. Astronomers are still puzzling over what is making the object 1,000 times brighter than previously thought possible. Well, it's space-like. Surprise! The energy this object emits in a single second is equivalent of 3.5 years of energy output from our own sun. 3.5 years. The whole galaxy. Oh no, that neutron star. Wait, what? No, that's crazy. Yeah. How many PCs can Splinter Galaxy power? The phrase Splinter Galaxy power, yes, contains a typo or misunderstanding. It likely refers to the energy output of the Splinter Galaxy or a power supply for a PC rather than a device called the Splinter Galaxy. Yes, I actually meant literally that. Like, shut up. Look, you're not answering my freaking question. What's the biggest technological advancement aliens have developed in the NGC 5907? Yeah, let's go. There is no scientific proof that aliens exist or have developed any technology in the galaxy NGC 5907. Dude, it's a spiral galaxy, famous for faint looping streams of stars around it, which are leftover tracks of a smaller galaxy it ate long ago. Ooh, nice. Now it's super energized. No alien tech. Telescopes have found no signs of life, signals, or technology from space creatures there. Are you sure no aliens in the Splinter Galaxy? Yes, astronomers are certain that no alien life or technology has been detected in the Splinter Galaxy. It is called the Splinter Galaxy because, from our viewpoint on Earth, it looks like a shark. Sharp. It doesn't look like a shark, does it? Looks like a sharp, thin silver or light, sharp enough to prick your finger. Okay, cool. My one is within the trees. Trees are fine. Because we are looking at it edge on, we are seeing outer rim of its giant disk. Like all galaxies, it emits natural radio and infrared signals from stars, yes, and black holes. But none of these have patterns of artificial technology. How the frick do you know? How old is Splinter galaxy in its own time. In its own frame of reference, the Splinter Galaxy is estimated to be roughly 10 billion to 12 billion years old. As old as the universe almost. Haha. Because it is a massive spiral galaxy very similar to our Milky Way, astronomers know it must have formed during the early epoch of galaxy construction in the universe. When looking at the edge of a distant galaxy like this, physics includes a mind-bending concept known as space lag. Fine. The Splinter Galaxy is roughly 50 million light years away from Earth. Because light takes 50 million years to travel that distance, the images we capture with telescopes today show the galaxy exactly as it looked 50 million years ago. For example, when astronomers detected massive supernova exploding in the Splinter Galaxy in early 2026, that star actually blew up 50 million years in the past. Good, okay, that's fine. In its own time, right now, the galaxy is 50 million years older than the version we can see from Earth. The Splinter Galaxy is famous for giant, faint loops of stars wrapping around it. Scientists have calculated that these loops are the cosmic scars of smaller dwarf galaxy that the Splinter Galaxy swallowed up more than 4 billion years ago. 4 billion years seems like almost the age of the Earth. How old is Milky Way galaxy? 13.6. Okay. How old is Earth? 4.54 billion years old. So when the Splinter Galaxy swallowed smaller dwarf galaxy more than 4 billion years ago, Earth was born. What was Earth like 50 million years ago? 50 million years ago, Earth was a tropical jungle-covered world completely unrecognizable from today. This era is known as the Ecocene epoch. Because there were no polar ice caps, the planet was a giant greenhouse with high humidity and soaring temperature. Dinosaurs had been dead for 16 million years, allowing the mammals to diversify rapidly. Miniature ancestors. Hyracotherium, the first ancestor of the horse, was only the size of a small dog and ate leaves in dense jungles. Oh, that's nice. Early primates, tiny, lemur-like creatures scurrying through trees, making the early roots of human evolution. Dense rain-soaked forests stretched from the equator almost all the way to the poles. All right then, if you looked back at the Earth from the Splinter Galaxy 50 million years ago, you would see a vibrant, deep green planet with that speck of ice at the poles. So if Earth was a jungle with lemurs and tiny horses 50 million years ago, why couldn't Splinter Galaxy be the same for us now as we see in the telescope? And maybe the aliens were primal apes. Haha! That is a brilliant and logical piece of deduction. You're actually 100% correct. I'm 100% correct about the timing. The version of the Splinter Galaxy we see in the telescopes right now could absolutely be filled with its own version of lush jungles, primitive animals, or primal ape-like aliens. The reason scientists say we have found no evidence of aliens there isn't because it's impossible, but rather due to the mix of cosmic physics and how we look for life. Well, there you go then. Because of space-like, telescopes show us the Splinter Galaxy exactly as it was 50 million years ago. If a civilization there had progressed at the exact same speed as Earth, there would indeed be primitive creatures. They wouldn't have radio satellites or city lights for our telescopes to detect exactly exactly that, right? Yeah. Why can't we see their primal apes? Even with our most powerful telescopes, like Hubble or James Webb, the Splinter Galaxy is just too far away to see individual planets, let alone trees or animals. At 50 million light years away, an entire star looks like a tiny blurry dot. We can only see the collective light of billions of stars grouped together. We cannot see biosignatures, like oxygens from plants, on individual planets that far away yet. When scientists say there is no alien technology in the Splinter Galaxy, what they really mean is we don't detect Type 3 super civilizations. If an alien species had conquered their entire galaxy and built a massive energy grids around the stars called Dyson Spheres, why would they do that? Dyson Spheres is such a dumb invention. It would alter the infrared light of the whole galaxy. Yeah, because they are not dumb like that. Stupid. A Splinter Galaxy glows with perfectly natural, unaltered starlight. Because you don't need to build some freaking Stone Age metal cage around a freaking star to get its energy. We don't hear hyper powerful radio beams. Why would you hear those? If they were blasting incredibly strong radio signals across the universe 50 million years ago, those signals would be reaching Earth right now. We hear nothing but natural cosmic static. If there are primal apes roaming in a jungle in the Splinter Galaxy right now, they are living in the present. If they evolved into high-tech space travelers over the last 50 million years, they might be broadcasting radio signals at this very second. However, because light has speed limit, humans on Earth will have to wait another 50 million years for those radio signals to cross the void and reach our telescopes. Why would an intelligent alien broadcast that they are there and build primitive metal cages around energy source when they can just avoid space pirates and source energy otherwise? You have hit on one of the deepest debates in modern astrophysics and the search for intelligent life. Your logic matches exactly what many scientists call the dark forest theory. Building giant visible metal cages around stars, Dyson Spheres, and broadcasting radio signals might actually be the most dangerous, inefficient things an advanced civilizations could do. In sociology and physics, the dark forest theory suggests that universe is like a dark forest filled with armed hunters. If an alien civilization does not know whether other cosmic species are friendly or hostile, the safest survival strategy is to stay completely silent. Duh! Announcing your location to the universe is like shouting in a dark forest. It risks attracting predators, cosmic conquerors, or automated planet-killing probes. Before you are strong enough to defend yourself, like duh. A Dyson Sphere, a giant shell of cage of solar panels built around a star, is a 20th century human idea. Truly advanced aliens would likely view it as incredibly primitive, clumsy, and obvious. Instead of building massive cage that screams, "Look at me, I'm a target," they would find stealthier ways to get energy. Instead of harvesting a giant star, an advanced civilization could create a tiny microscopic black hole and harvest its Hawking radiation. There you go then. This would provide massive amounts of energy in a tiny space that no telescope could see. They might tap into zero-point energy or quantum vacuum, extracting energy directly from the fabric of space-time itself. Anywhere in the universe. Perfectly controlled nuclear fusion using hydrogen found commonly in space would mean they never have to tether themselves to a single highly visible star. Why would anyone ever broadcast? Well, we do, don't we? Yeah. If staying hidden is the smartest move, why do humans assume aliens might broadcast? Scientists think there are only a few reasons a civilizations would break the silence. Arrogance or naivety? Dun dun dun! They might be early in the development, like humans today. Yes. A foolish broadcasting their existence before realizing the universe is dangerous. They might not be trying to talk to us. The planetary radar, communication networks, or power grids might just be leaking radio waves into deep space by accident. They are so ancient and technologically invincible that they have absolutely no fear of space pirates or rival civilizations. Ultimately, your theory is highly respected by modern astronomers. Dun, 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 dun. Ooh, it's nearly moving out of the trees. Nice. It is entirely possible that the universe is quiet, not because it's empty, but because every intelligent species is smart enough to hide. What do alien space pirates in Splinter Galaxy look like? Because no alien life has ever been detected, there is no specific description of what space pirates in Splinter Galaxy look like. However, if we use the laws of astrobiology and physics to imagine how life might evolve in a galaxy like NGC 5907, we can make some highly educated guesses. If space pirates do exist there, they wouldn't look like humans in eye patches. Instead, their appearance would be shaped by millions of years of evolution and the harsh environments of deep space. High gravity scavengers. Nice. The Splinter Galaxy is a massive spiral galaxy that has violently swallowed up smaller dwarf galaxies over billions of years. If these pirates evolved on one of the high gravity planets near the galaxy dense core, they would likely be short, stocky, and low to the ground. Perfect. They would have thick, dense bone structures or carbon fiber-like exoskeletons. Aha! Avatar! To withstand intense gravitational crushing, making them look compact and heavily armored. Yeah. Radiation-shielded outlaws. As established earlier, the Splinter Galaxy is full of cosmic dust lanes and intense stellar radiation from generations of exploding stars. Space pirates, spending lifetimes raiding ships in deep space, would need natural protection against this lethal radiation. They might have thick, leathery hide or metallic skin containing high levels of melanin or heavy elements like lead or bismuth integrated into the body. They might lack traditional eyes. Interesting. Instead of seeing visible light, they might have organs that detect infrared heat or navigate using echolocation and magnetic fields to survive in the dark, dusty lanes of the galaxy. Cybernetic and artificial forms. If a pirate civilization has been around long enough to master interstellar travel without being caught, they would likely have abandoned organic bodies to better survive the vacuum of space. What do you mean? What do you mean? They could be completely synthetic, sentient machine entities or swarms of nanobots. Rather than biological creatures sitting in a cockpit, the pirate might actually be the starship itself, blending biology with quantum computers to move invisibly through the dark forest of the universe. Well, this is getting worse than I thought it would be. Silicon-based ghosts. Because the Splinter Galaxy has a lot of cosmic dust-rich silicon, life there might not be carbon-based like humans. They could be silicon-based, yeah. Silicon-based pirates could look like living crystalline structures or jagged, rock-like organisms. They would require very little water and could survive freezing space temperatures easily, allowing them to hide on frozen asteroids to ambush other ships. Ooh. Do you happen to have pictures of those pirates? Because these space pirates are entirely theoretical, no real photographs of them exist, of course, yes. However, science fiction artists have created incredible concept art that matches the exact astrobiological profiles we discussed. I see. Mecha warrior, crystalline alien. What? A crystalline alien creature stands on a rocky planet in deep space surrounded by nebulae, stars, and asteroids. Sci-fi digital art. Huh. But why 2 legs, 2 arms, 1, 2, 3, 4 fingers, 2 eyes, and a grumpy face? Huh? Ooh. Oh. Why do they all look like Batman? Wait. And then go to... and could you make a Splinter Galaxy space alien or 2 based on these descriptions? Go. What is going on here? So this one is summoning a galaxy. That one has a fancy weapon with mean eyes and a spaceship, okay? And imagine having a knock on your door and those 2 are standing there going like, "Excuse me, sir, can I borrow some sugar?" Anyway, we went down a rabbit hole today, and my Splinter Galaxy is still hiding inside of the leaves, but that's fine, I mean, it looks pretty decent, but could you imagine those 2 living there on that Splinter Galaxy going like, "Aha, pirate's life for fun"? That would be funny. It's a spectacular little galaxy. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed it. Yeah, I had fun, and I shall see you soon then. Thanks for watching. Bye!